for the moment, we are back on the gates, hoping for a nice little restart, less crashes than before if possible, and we'll see how we get on here tonight. Our revs are up, the gates are down, and off we go then. Looking like Enzo trying to come off to a large sweeping move to the inside. Another bike over the tough block there. Certainly not ideal. Much cleaner start though at the front of the field. Homburg pulling that whole shot, but losing straight away to Pumpkasu. Once again, Pump pulling a fantastic racing lead early on in the moto. We've got, it looks like, a base tack just in the P2 position, just ahead of Willie on the SL Design. Is that Husky? Yes, it is. Thought it was Suzuki there for a brief moment, and then I saw the grate, but we're doing all right here. Oh, a huge crash there. Sue and Henrique having a tough start. Ryder and Tommy backing off to the start that they really wanted here. Have a little flick back up with the racing leaders. Up here you can see Willie on the SL Design Husqvarna making his way around the outside of Pumpkasu's Honda for the racing lead. Pablo back down the inside with side by side coming through this twisting section. Back down into the whoops now. A tough whoop section this week, especially on the 250s. Very difficult to keep your momentum going on through there. Willie back down the inside. Pump's going to maintain the inside for this left-hander though, coming onto the finish line. Like he maintains the lead then as we come onto the first official lap of the race. Nice and tidy up at the front of the field. Looks like we've got a nice tight battle here going on in the battle for, I think it's P5 and 6 between Igor and Senzo Galdron. Looks like I might be wrong, might be 7 and 8, sorry. These guys just absolutely sending it. Pump though back on into the lead. We'll get onto the TV camera with these guys as it's just a little bit easier to see for everyone. For the moment though, Pump does lead. 6/10 is the gap between himself and the Husqvarna behind. Willie though certainly not far back at all. A little bit of a case there. It's going to cost him some time to base tack behind. Base tack of course looking to try and get into those early podium spaces. He's already holding on to the P3 spot, so we'll see if he can close that gap up any more. Jenkins then on the Hustle Racing Husqvarna looking to try and hustle his way up to that top of the field. And we'll see if he can find his way up there later tonight. For now though, of course, just the top 9 making their way through from the heats into the main event from the first heats. And then we have the LCQ coming up afterwards, in which just the top 4 make it. Sprocket then holding on to a decent position here just ahead of Jenkins. It's the fight for P4 at the moment. We have a little flick on back through the field just a little bit further and see if we can spot that transfer position. It looks like Frank currently holding it on the JPR KTM. Off to a pretty decent start then by all means. Going to be looking to try and close that gap up between himself and the bikes ahead though to improve. It looks like Poggio's actually holding on to it. Frank may have a penalty. This early on in the race is not going to be super ideal for him. Just 3.5 minutes remaining as well to open that gap up, and that is really not going to help there. Poggio is sure to catch up, surely. Can't see a world that doesn't happen in Pumpkasu though. Look at this, 3.3 seconds. Kind of having a bit of a network lag time there, but it looks like he kept it steady over the whoops. We've got Willie just behind on the SL Design Husqvarna. He's lost a decent bit of time now to the racing leader, but has a fair bit of work to go. Of course, he's chilling though, provided he can maintain in the top 9, and that's all that really matters in these heats. Not getting extra points after all. He's second Sprocket here. The fight for the podium starting to develop between the Blaze Demex KTM behind and the Burl DWS KTM just up in front here on screen. Off to a pretty decent time here. Sprocket's really trying to scrub the life out of that Blaze Demex KTM. Look at the speed he's pulled through the section. He rear ends base tack and they both go down over the rhythm section. Certainly not what either rider intended there, as Jenkins finds his way through on that Hustle Racing Husqvarna and gets a cheeky couple of positions here with just a couple of minutes left on the clock. That gap between Pump and Willie now 5.8 seconds. We'll have a little look at the lap times at the end of the moto. Don't let me forget. Ooh, base tack nearly going over the bars there, but keeping it tidy. Just pushing it ever so slightly too hard potentially. Jenkins and Sprocket though side by side as we come into the whoop section. It looks like the Hustle bike just unfortunately doesn't get the drive that it needs into the entry of the whoops and just gets absolutely stalled out there. It's very easy to lose your momentum through that section. Back down in the fight for P9, it looks like Igor holding on to a pretty decent gap here, both front and rear. Healthily in that P9 transfer position, at least for the moment, barring any major incidents like that. Let's hope we can see him keep 2 wheels on the ground. That'll be ideal, eh? Tommy Wack, Poggio and Henrique, and as well as Zoom and Lanson, all in a big cluster now, looking to try and hunt down onto the back of Igor's KTM. We'll see if they can close that gap up in the near future, but for now, back up with the leading few. Let's see what we've got up here. That gap between Willie and Pump that was 5 seconds down to just 1.4 after a mistake from the Honda rider. Another as he go off to the outside of the whoop section there. Willie, it's a fantastic drive through in the process, and you can almost smell him now. He's getting incredibly close, just around a second or two between them. Honda out front, Hamburger. Yes, indeedy. Well, he's putting in an absolutely stellar fight here. Looks like Pump may have a 1 second penalty. Oh, a huge crash there. A huge crash for the SL Design Husqvarna. That is going to pretty much solidify Pump Gasu's win, I believe. Barring any major mistakes, of course, from the SL Design Honda. Our two teammates, though, going to be happy to see each other up and on the podium. And both going to be happy to make it through, provided they don't make any major incidents happen in the next couple of laps or so. Of course, just 30 seconds on the clock, so roughly 2 to 3 laps left. And we are ready to rock and roll. Jenkins here. Looks like he's kept a pretty solid race here so far in that Hustle Racing Husqvarna. Maintaining P5. Not a particularly zoomy performance, but keeping nice consistency. That's all we need from these heats. Frank here currently holding on to P8, I believe, just onto the back of Hamper now, though. Where is Hamper? Hamper's P6 according to that timing gate. Senzo appears to be behind them, both having a bit of an error there, no? And Franklin closing in onto the back of the P6 Ridge MX KTM. Frank trying to find his way through there, having a tough time as the bike waddles its way around the ruts. Just jumping through the lines there. Big old send as we triple our way over the table, doubling into the corner, trying to squeeze it down into the inside line. It just wasn't easy enough to get that bike stopped. It just wasn't written in the stars here tonight for Frank. He's going to have to try a little bit harder if he wants that P6 position. Senzo closing in now, of course, to risk losing the P7 spot. Keeping okay, though, for the moment. This is Heat 1. This is Heat 1. There you go. We're having a nice little time here. Gasu, though, trying to find his way through some blue flag traffic here. We're leading onto the white flag lap now with the racing leader. We will spend the lap with the leader to see how the fast boys in the 250 class get around this circuit. Nice big triple in over the table, doubling into the corner, and we've taken inside line here. Of course, just trying to be nice and aggressive against the blue flag bike here. And assert our dominance. Down the inside we go. Just chops off his line. There's nowhere for Holmberg to go there to try and re-secure. And no reason to either, of course, under that blue flag. Pump with a little bit of a mistake there. Don't see him make too many of them here tonight. He's made a few, though. He has made a few, and it's kept Willie very much in the runnings for the majority of his first heat. Oh, he tries to cut across a little bit too early there across the front of the lap down bike. Honda, though, keeping himself nice and tidy here. Going into those whoops. Oh, he's had a bit of a bouncy time through there this time. And here we come then. Down towards the final corner and across the line here very shortly for the SL Design team on the Honda. Fantastic ride then here from Pabkasu up and in P... What? His lap didn't count! His lap didn't count! Willie then takes the racing lead. That's wild. Not entirely sure what happened there. But there you go. It happens sometimes. We'll have to, I'm sure, get that rectified. There you go. As it stands on the board is what I'm going to read out. Of course, I'm sure it will probably be rectified by the racing stewards as the night goes on. For now, though, Willie in P1, Spocky for P2, Ham in P3. We've got Base Tack for P4, Jenkins for P5, Frank for P6. Senzo coming across the line here for P7. Takes P6 though away from Frank due to penalties. Tommy Wack then for P8, and I believe the last bike making his way through into the main event here tonight for the 250 class. Lanson may, though, if his lap doesn't get confirmed by the racing stewards. We shall see. It should have been Pump in that top spot, but he did miss a lap there at the end. I'm not 100% sure what actually happened to him in the final lap. It looked like he was keeping pretty solid from my perspective. Maybe he had a tiny bit of a cut in some places, but not enough to invalidate a whole lap, I wouldn't say. Not to worry, though. We're having a nice little race here so far for the 250s. Let's have a little look at the lap times. A 55.274 there from Babakasu on the second lap of the race. 7/10 faster than Spocket there is the second fastest bike. Looks like it's Spocket, of course, pulled P2 after Babakasu's unfortunate lap down incident. We'll have a little check-in with the racing stewards there in just a moment. But for now, you guys are going back into the edits. And hopefully you don't mind for just a few more minutes before we get ready for the 450 LCQ. Let's get it underway. Let's get the overlay on. Bada bing, bada boom. We're here for the 450 LCQ now here tonight. So just the top 4 making it through to the main event, of course, here this evening. Let's see if we can get something working here for the 450 boys here tonight. Hoping for a little bit of a cleaner start than we saw in the 250 first start of the race. But we did have a restart if we needed it. Here we are, though. On the gates, the revs are up. We're ready to start. RC Designs, welcome in. Hopefully you're having a good night. We're getting ready here for the 450 LCQ. Down go the gates, and who's it going to be down to the whole shot? It looks like Arcos getting off to a bit of a tough start there. AK Triple 3MX could be a contender. It looks like Chapstick, though, or Jones. Jones on the 797 Yamaha pulls it out of the bag there, pulls out the whole shot, and the racing lead that comes along with it here in the 450 LCQ. We got Eurisen taking away that lead. Svepi for P3, Louis for P4. No, P3, sorry. Svepi was P2. Arcos currently P4, and Egget for P5. Looks like Arcos going off and wide there. That's a tough start indeed. So all the riders having a tough time here at the start of the moto. Of course, it is a very, very difficult entry to the track coming through that whole shot. It really does compress the field down quite a lot. A move there for the lead from Eurus. Once again on the Burb Moto, Husqvarna Louis on the K.Co KTM trying to close his way back down in. Sorry, a bit of a misspeak. Svepi around the outside on the Ridgemex KTM trying to make something stick here through the whoops. Looks like the fastest bike at the minute through the whoops is Louis on that K.Co KTM, just absolutely licking his way through. Almost struggled to get the bike stop there. Who went off? What? Very confused as to what that was. A couple of bikes having a tough time here in the exit of the whoop section. Like I say, it can be tough for some riders to get their bike stopped in time. And of course, if others get it right and the one behind them doesn't quite get their bike stopped, it's going to be a disaster just in waiting here. For the moment, though, Eurus does lead just ahead of Zeppi, and Louis is battling it out for the P2 position. Let's see if we can get on board with those guys, shall we? Zeppi, the Ridgemex KTM and the K.Co KTM having a nice little battle here. It looks like Arcos and the KDR bike looking to try and close his way on in. Finds his way up and through into P3 for the moment. Zeppi now down in that bottom transfer position. He will be making his way through provided he stays here. However, of course, the likes of Zane and Jams, who are morphed together rather, they're going to try their best to squeeze up through the field. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but there you go. Hopefully it doesn't kill the server. Then timing gate still shows P3. We'll see how it updates as we come over the finish line here shortly. Looks like we're holding P2 here at the moment. Then on the K.Co bike, Arcos for P3 and Zvepi for P4 after a little bit of a mistake there for the Ridgemex rider. So MX then looking to try and close his way in. So Calicor's looking to try and find his way up and through into the main event here tonight. Currently holding P5, but he needs P4 to make his way transferred up into that main event. So Cal goes for the huge triple there in the background. You can see him carrying loads of speed compared to the Ridgemex KTM that we've got on screen here at the moment. Closing right up once again. Taking some slower outside lines though. Costing himself just that fraction of a second. Oh no, a huge collision there between Chapstick and Zvepi. I believe Chapstick, unfortunately, a lap down bike. Definitely a disaster then by all accounts. Not good for Zvepi at all. Let's have a little flick up through the field. Arcos was P3. That means Doria Merritt then on the P4. Mostra KTM, sorry. A bit of a just brain fart again, apparently. Zvepi and SoCal currently P5 and 6. Looking to obviously make their way through back up into the top 4 positions. Zvepi, of course, not happy about being collected, of course. Wow, I've said, of course, too many times. You get the idea. He's having a nice time. Did he miss 250 LCQ? 250 LCQ is going on at the same time as 450. We did the 250 heat this week. Therefore, we're in the 450 LCQ here tonight. Zvepi getting a super scrub there. Look at that. What a line. Very nice stuff. If only we can pull that off every lap, eh? Keeping ourselves nice and tidy as we come over that triple. So Calicor's currently holding P4, I believe. Or P5, rather, sorry. I apologise. Dorian just up in front of these two. He's holding the P4 transfer position at the moment. You can see him just up in front there. Zvepi here putting in some good work. Currently P6. Got a lot of work to go though. Let's see how it's getting on. Eurus then currently leading the field, 4.4 seconds, so a very, very nice lead. Looking like he could be on for a comfortable win here and make his way, of course, into that main event if he does so. Louis here in the K.Co bike. It's got some nice tech here tonight. Struggling for that consistency just a little bit though, so hopefully we see that improve throughout the last couple of laps of this LCQ. And then, of course, in the main event, of course, consistency is absolutely everything. 15 minutes for the 250s, 20 minutes for the 450s. It is a difficult time. Arcos there, keeping it lovely though. Very tidy riding there from the KDR bike. Dorian here closing his way up though on that Mostra KTM. Number 13, Unlucky for some. Going to try and scrub his way back up onto that podium here tonight. See if he can pull something off. Currently P4 in the field, just 15 seconds now on the clock. And we're going to be looking at a tough little scramble here to try and find his way up and on the podium, if he can indeed close up with Arcos without causing himself any issues. He's kept it okay, we're good. Shiny side is facing the sky. He's having a nice time. It's Veppy here, of course, not too far back. It looks like Socal will find his way back through then on the Bart Bros KTM. Couple of laps remaining then here tonight in the 450 LCQ here in Denver. Looks like Eurus is leading, although he's lost a hell of a lot of time there to Louis. Louis, of course, very much closing in. Some really quick stuff here towards the end of the race. It looks like lap time wise, we're not super duper fast, but holding good consistency here at the front of the field for Eurus. 58.7 is his best. Eurus with a Louis, sorry, with a 58.6. A little bit of a wheelie there from the Cador co-rider. So a little bit less pace, a little bit more consistency. Similar thing for Dorian, but he's actually got the pace to go with it by the looks of things. Hoping to try and come up through the field a little bit later tonight then, of course. Arcos currently P4, 58.9. Looks like SoCal at 101, so a fair bit off the pace there. Jam's struggling for pace as well. Tough times indeed. Alright, back up with the front four. Get nice and tidy here for these guys. Eurus, oh, Dorian, they're taking us on to our final lap. Eurus, of course, halfway through his. The Moto Husqvarna has pulled a very comfortable lead here. Louis, of course, still very much close behind, still not letting up now and maintaining some solid pressure onto the back of the Bird motorbike. So we could see that pressure fail him. Hopefully, for Eurus' sake, he can keep that shiny side up and the rubber side down. We'll see if that's the case. Louis there, that's a tiny little bit of time once again. Tenths there. There we go then, down the whoops for the final time here tonight in the 450 LCQ at least. Lucy having a tough time there as we wheelie down the straight. Loops his way. Loop. Yep. Across the line there for Eurus with a 360 backflip. Why not? We will absolutely take it. Dorian then for the P2 spot and Louis for P3 presumably on the Cador Co KTM. An unfortunate end there for him. Gets pushed down to P4. Oh no! He gets pushed all the way down to P5 due to penalties there for the Cador co-rider. An absolute disaster. Eurus then P1, Dorian for P2, Arcos for P3, and Jams made it through into P4. Socal for P6, Louis for P5. That's kind of wild. What happens to Veppy? Veppy retired, it looks like, on the final lap. Or the one before the final lap, sorry, my apologies. A tough race then here for a lot of riders. Gorb coming across the line, P11. A decent ride here tonight from him, but not enough to get up into the main event. Same goes for Pat Sheehan. Deary me. Drama then here in the 450 LCQ. Down from P2 to P5 by penalties. That is a very rough situation. Jam's actually fastest on the field there with a 56.921 towards the end of the lap. Just 2.3 tenths ahead as Veppy. Very nice stuff indeed. Alrighty, back over with the other stuff. What's it called? The edits, that's the word I'm looking for. And we will be back very shortly with the 250 main event here tonight in Denver. Don't be going anywhere. Nice and full gates here as well tonight. Finally into that starting sequence we go. Who's it going to be then down to the whole shot? We shall find out very shortly. The revs are going up and we're getting ready. Down go those gates then as the bikes start to send their way down into this very tight squeezy hole shot after the long straight. Struggling to get that bike stopped for Pump, and it looks like Reigns on the Hustle Racing KTM will take the whole shot, but Pump seizes the lead there with a fantastic line straight in early on there on the SL Designs Honda. A couple of bikes piling up there in the midfield as you can see. A lot of traffic there, almost 3 wide through the corner too. Very rough stuff indeed. Guys though picking back up. Hawkey with a huge case there, hopefully staying on 2 wheels. It looks like Pump losing the lead here to Marshall. Marshall, of course, currently leading the championship here. I believe it's Marshall and Yoku, the ones to watch out for in the top 2 spots of the championship. Of course, Pump is certainly up there too. I believe he is. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go and check. It's super nice and smooth though here for the rest of the field. Here we are then, checking back on with the replay cams. We try and find our way through some more battles. Up here at the front of the field, you can see Pump starting to open that gap up quite considerably now, roughly 7/10 according to that previous timing gate. But I'd estimate more like a second and a half to 2 now after the crash here of Willie on the SL Designs Husqvarna. PB then looks to try and close on in. We'll see if it gets on going. A 1-2 digit in the main is gnarly. It is indeed, it is indeed. Yeah, we are though. Frank here keeping himself as tidy as he can for the moment. Crane holding on to the P2 position there then for the JPR team. He's going to be looking to maintain that. Spocket here on the Blazer MX bike, currently podium. Willie there pushing himself down into P4 by the looks of things. Potentially worse than that. It looks like Willie missed a lap here. I think I just caught that right. So he should be fighting out with Zoom in the 5-4 P5 or 6. Sorry for my language. Marshall there getting collected. Not what he wants to see there on the race graphics KTM. Looking nice, if I might say so, this week. Look at that gear. Very tidy indeed. Coming through those whoops. We look okay for now. Zoom and Marshall passing base tack on both sides. Marshall coming off better than the other two. Looks like Spocket gets his way through as well there on the Blazer MX KTM. Up and through we go then. Back up with the leader once again. 5.6 seconds now is the gap between Pompikasu and Frank. We shall see if we can keep himself nice and moving. What I believe, Sek, how we're getting on, boy. Frank here holding on for the P2 position. 4 seconds now to the leader. 9 seconds to P3 though for Laurent Demeaux. He's got a long way to go here. If he can find his way back up into those top 2 positions, we shall see. Marshall, of course, going to be looking to try and contend for those podium positions here very, very shortly. Spocket not too far back, of course, either. So Marshall potentially harbouring a penalty. It may have just not updated yet. You know, it is sometimes on the timing gates. Through the whoops we go. Spocket loses that position. Absolutely, certainly there. Almost no recovering from that, unfortunately. Marshall then seizes the opportunity to take the position away from him. Absolutely lovely work indeed. Portman with the follow, thank you very much. Pump here, you can see just slicing through the air there on the Honda, having a very, very nice race here. Back over with the fight for P6 though. Or P5 rather, sorry. Base tack, Zoom, PB. Looks like Hustle, who's that, sorry? Reigns? I think it was Reigns there on the Hustle Racing KTM. An unfortunate crash there. Just getting collected and pinged off the track as a result. PB and Hawkeye trying to close their way in. Hawkeye having a tough time here. Not a rider we often see towards the back of the field. Very, very hectic stuff here tonight then in Denver. We never really know what's going to happen in these mains, but it's always a nice time regardless. Frank then starting to close that gap up now. What was 4 seconds down to just 3.7, so he's slowly making it work here. He's got plenty of time in the race. 4.8 is not the direction we wanted to go though, Frank. That's the opposite of the direction we want to go. Pump though, and be very, very happy indeed. Marshall then currently holding on to P3 on track, and it does look like he has at least a 1 second penalty there, putting Laurent Demeaux just a hair in front for now. Watch Tommy Wack and Tommy Gunn. We'll see how Tommy Wack's getting on here, shall we? Looks like the ETO KTM holding himself pretty stable for now. Currently holding on to P18. A decent gap in front and a decent gap behind. We'll leave him alone for the moment then. Oh, he gets his way past Hamper there. A little cheeky pass, why not? Why not? We'll throw that in there. Nice little bit of battling going on through the field here. Laurent Demeaux losing a lot of time here. Sullivan finds his way through, as does Spocket by the looks of it, just up in front. Gravity Husky then trying to hold off the KDR bike for now. Looks like Sullivan's going to make it work. Very, very nice riding here from the two of them though. Just having a little flick on through the field, don't mind me checking in with things. Looks like these guys are having a nice little fight here. Around the of course, closing it back in once again to the privateer bike and Sullivan there just up in front. Of course, very, very good on the offense usually. Finds a nice low line there on the right side of the tabletop. Through the central line we're almost coming alongside the privateer now. Just a little bit of an overjump there from the KDR bike. That allows Sullivan to maintain his momentum and keep that defensive inside line for the moment. He's maintaining a nice defensive posture as well, even now, provided we can keep it tight to the inside. Lovely stuff. Laurent Demeaux though, switching back underneath. A fantastic pass there from the KDR Husqvarna. He's going to be very, very happy with himself there. And Basetac right up in front now, having made a mistake of his own. He's going to be under some serious pressure from these two Husqvarnas that have been battling their way out for the last couple of laps. Mo just cranking now Husqvarna over side to side here. Basetac trying to scramble away on the Burl KTM here. Trying to recover nice and quickly from that mistake. Looks like he's found his way back up into the racing rhythm, at least for the moment. Getting a very greasy line through there. Just keeping tidy. Mo though definitely closing that gap up now on the KDR Husqvarna. Have a little drink as recommended by Tuna. Much appreciated. Indeed. Alrighty, let's get it going. It looks like Pomp's now open up 13.2 seconds. We'll have a little look at that gap in just a moment. Now I want to make sure we're not missing anything too special here between Demo and Basetac. Looks like the gap's opening up just a little bit between the two riders. Let's see how it gets on. Check out Soderberg. Let's have a little look, shall we? Soderberg then on the Prestige KTM. Looks to try and close in with a Yiga, it looks like. Not 100% sure which position we're in. I believe we're around P20. A little bit of a tough time by the looks of things. Getting pushed down just a little bit there. Henrik, of course, closing in. We'll see if that battle starts to develop in a little while. They've actually got a decent bit of racing here towards the back of the field. Just goes to show, really. A lot of these riders, just by making it in, show that they've got some real serious pace. They can often stick it out with each other. It just kind of depends on, oh my dear, where you end up. And of course, just how consistent you can be on the night as well. He's having a decent run here, actually. There you go, just up in front there. Another little peek there in a moment, chart. Investigation time. Not close enough to anyone to be suspicious for the moment. Check in in a minute. Anyways, it looks like Laurent Lemot back up into P6. We've got Basetac right up in front there, not far back at all. Just look how close they are. Just a few bike lanes there between the two of them. Yeah, Sprocket's moving there. 21 seconds to the leader now. He's created 5 seconds, sorry, between himself and Basetac behind. It really started to open that gap up now and closing in with Frank just up in front. We may see Sprocket on the Blaze Next KTM and get a cheeky little podium here tonight. We shall see, we shall see. Still 6 minutes to go. Anyone's guess as to who's going to be up there. I think Pomp's a pretty safe guess though. Marshall of course too, usually. Well, I mean, like I say, pretty much anyone up there in the top 10 would be pretty familiar to see up on the podium. Has closed that gap between himself and the Burl KTM of Basetac. A little bit of a case there on the finish line, though, is going to cost him some time. Do you think Hulk will get a ban for killing Yoka because he was a contender for the win? Potentially. Potentially. It depends on the situation, of course. I'm not the racing steward. I don't enforce the rules. I just spectate and commentate the races. But I'm sure the stewards will take appropriate action if he is doing anything particularly unsafe. Or indeed intentional as well, of course. That was a decent pass there for him, though, can't lie. But yeah, one of them things. We will see once it gets protested as to what the decision is. But of course, it will get taken into consideration that Yoko, of course, is P2 in the championship, down in P11 currently in the race. Potentially as a direct result of those incidents that you mentioned. So we'll see. But like I say, I'm not one to decide. For the moment, the battle to watch is Sullivan versus Willie in the fight for P7 between the SL Design Husqvarna and the Privateer. Once again, these guys are back at it again. Let's see if we can get something going here for Willie. Excuse me a sec. Definitely not ideal on load. For now though, Sullivan around the outside of the SL Design bike, trying to find a way through. It doesn't look like Willie's going to give him that gap just yet though. It's going to come down to this next rhythm section. Who can get it nice and smooth, who can scrub off the most time. So Willie's going to hold the position for the moment. bit of a case there from the leader. Kind of cuts across the lap down bike just a little bit too sharp there. Thankfully he doesn't come into contact, but that's a little bit close for my liking. Might be leading, but you still have to take safety into account, of course. Here, trying to make something stick. Currently P2, 16.4 to the leader. In fact, no, 15.7. Looks like he's on a pretty decent lap here compared to Pump at least. Through the whoops we go, down the inside line as well. Managed to maintain the momentum, down the inside of Senzo we go. See you in a bit, Gowdrop. Yeah, Marshall's keeping a really nice solid pace here for now. Let's see if he can close that gap up between himself and Pump. Looks like it's opened up just a little bit once again there as we get caught up in the traffic. Spocket here though, absolutely hauling. He's found his way all the way up to P3, staring down the back of P2. My goodness me, we might see Spocket in some pretty serious points here tonight. That plays the next KTM rider is doing very, very special things here tonight. Let's see if he can find his way up there, shall we? Oh no, over the bars! The commentator's curse strikes again. I'm very sorry, Spocket. I don't mean it to happen. It just happens. It just happens. For now though, he rejoins. We'll see how it updates in a moment. R.I.P. Spocket. Pump though, still leading. Look at that commanding lead. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Laurent unfortunately lapped down now into P11 position. Pump though, 17.8 now. Just cooking along. Oh, a bit of a case there from the leader once again. Makes a couple of mistakes every lap there. Definitely losing just a little bit of time as he's pushing over just over the bike limits potentially. Or potentially just over his own. We shall see, we shall see. For now though, running incredibly consistent laps here between 56.8 and 57.7. So really consistent actually. That's what we like to see. 55.1 his fastest lap in the race. Marshall then with 56.7's fastest and 57.7 previous. Definitely looking like he could close up the leader if Pump keeps making any mistakes. But of course, 1.5 minutes, 20-second gap. The math doesn't really add up. Frank here though could be a serious contender for B2 once again. JPR KTM closing back up with Marshall now. Let's see if that's a thing. Spocket here though, currently P4. Got knocked off the podium, at least temporarily. We'll see if he can try and re-secure that position. I'm sure it's not too far out of his grasp, but it is a very, very long way to climb up to the back of Frank now. Yeah, that might be a little bit much actually thinking about it. It's a 12-second gap there between the two riders. Certainly not going to be an easy feat if he can pull it off. For now though, just under a minute on the clock. Pump Picasso leads with 18.4 seconds to P2. SL Designs Honda keeping himself nice and stable. A little bit of a wobble on the entry to the whoops, but it's nothing he can't handle. Yeah, and into that final corner, we let that central right now, as the track is obviously in its most eroded state. Just railing the tops of those sand berms. Down the inside, table on, table off. Big old soupy triple. That's what we like to see. Just slams the bike there through the inside rut as well. Absolutely moving. I mean, a very, very nice drive here tonight. What happened to Hawkey? I'm not 100% sure. I think he had a couple of just traffic-related incidents, you know. I think it's just been a tough night for him, unfortunately, Brock. Rob's having a huge issue. All the way around we go. That was some kind of Poboso dance. I'm not entirely sure what we were wishing for there, but here we are, staying in the lead for now. Thankfully, with the 19-second buffer zone. Of course, that gap is going to come right down, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough for Marshall to close in, barring any other major mistakes here from Pump. Checking with those guys in just a moment. Yoku, of course, P2 in the championship, currently P10, unfortunately, due to some earlier racing incidents. There will be the perpetrator shall be under investigation, I'm sure. For now, though, he's having a tough time there on the outside as well. Like I I say, this track really gels with some and doesn't quite gel with some others. I personally like it a lot though. Come down the inside. Ooh, just trying to find something here on Zoom. There we go, get past the blue flag bike. Come then across the line for the SL Design team on the Honda Pompikasu in P1 here tonight in Denver. It looks like Marshall will come home for P2 on the Race Graphics KTM. A fantastic finish then by all means for himself. Held on to that racing position and definitely deserves to take it home here tonight. Across the line he comes in for P2 here tonight in Denver. We've got Reigns there finishing up. Frank here, not too far back. Spocket though is the one we want to watch coming in home on the Blaze MX KTM. It brought home a podium here tonight. Defeated the odds and climbed his way up through a hell of a lot of traffic here this evening. A fantastic ride then by all means. Base Tech though will be taking P4 by the looks of things. A lot of lap down bikes of course have finished. You've got to bear in mind that Pump has just lapped all the way up to P5 on the field. An absolutely phenomenal ride then from him tonight. Base Tech, a bit of a crash there in the whoops unfortunately for the P4 bike, but thankfully doesn't risk losing a position. Into the final corner we come. And across the line here for the Bell KTM for P4. We had Willie then in P5, Sullivan for P6, Beloka for P7, Laurent Demo for P8, Joku for P9, and was for P10. Hawkey finishing up P11 there. An unfortunate end to those guys' races. For the moment though, let's get cracking on once again. We have the 450 races coming up next, so hold your horses. All of that stuff. We'll see you soon in the 450 main event. Hopefully we can have a nice little bit of racing here. Of course, the 450 championship title is already defended, or decided rather, but the rest of the positions still up for grabs, so hopefully we can still get some good riding on the field here tonight. Down go the gates and off we are. Like a nice little start here. Cam trying to pull that whole shot ahead of Aiden and Tyler J. They're almost 3 wide there though. Cam does pull it by a hair. Tyler J and Aiden seem to have collided there. Number one now running the red plate, number one Kawasaki, look at that. They'll be happy with that here tonight. Anyways, we'll see if we can get some good positions. For now though, up at the front of the field, we have Extreme on the Section MX KTM and Jams for P2 on the MXP mod bike. Looks like he's fallen over the front of the bike though after hearing his name, and Dorian takes the racing lead away from the other rider. Jake then in P2, and it looks like Lipset currently holding P3. Off for a very, very strong start here then for this podium. Flick on through the field, shall we? Up at the front, Dorian Marrett, of course. JK trying to take that lead away from him, and he does so. A fantastic pass into the whoops there. Cooper and Lipo taking advantage too, trying to find their way through, and they make it happen. All three then finding their way into the podium positions. Lipsek still holding on, trying to find that P2 spot just ahead of Cooper here. Looks like he's managed to pull it off. All the bikes here at the front of the field, very, very aggressive. You have to be in these pro races. It's going to be a tough time indeed. Looks like Lipo's managed to pull it off though here at the start of the field. We'll see if he can maintain that gap and continues to hold it. For now, Dorian Marrett there on the Mostra KTM looking to hold on to P2 and potentially gain P1. We'll see if it happens here. Arcos and Cam with the big send on the MXBMR KTM. Coming in hot there and taking Arcos' P3 away from him, at least for the moment. Of course, the KDR bike not looking to try and give it up just yet. See if he can hold on and pull something back here later tonight. Now Jake around the outside of Extreme, and it looks like we've got Portman closing in as well there on the AEO Husqvarna. See if we've got some things going on. Let's have a little flick on through the field. Valentin LDF having a nice time here, currently P9. A tough time through the whoops though by the looks of things. Aiden and Logan closing up a lot there as a result, and actually finding their way through too. His way through though. Valentin does manage to at least defend that position. We've got Dimitri not too far back. Tyler J, of course, just leading ahead of him there on the Kawasaki. Currently fighting out for the P11 position? I believe so. Off to a tough start then here is Tyler J, but we usually see him tough at the start and pull his way through the field towards the end. So don't rule him out just yet, of course. Dorian and Cam though, look at this fight going on here in the battle for P2. Lipasek just walking away there with the lead here at the moment. Roughly 1.5 seconds in front of these guys. Certainly not out of contention just yet. Then Cam down the inside, Dorian to the outside. Cam takes the position away. Dorian does the same thing back to him into the whoops. He comes side by side then. Cam with a better drive there on the MXBMR bike. Keeping a solid run here then from both riders. tidy stuff here from Dorian as well, especially. We've got Cooper here on TSCZ Productions, KTM, my goodness me. Very clearly Husqvarna, so it's Cooper on the TSCZ Productions, Husqvarna, we should say. Over the triple we come. Jake closing in as well there, trying to take away P4 from him. We'll see if he can pull it out of the bag here as he comes down the inside on the AJP KTM. Trying to squeeze it alongside. Can't quite get it done though, as Cooper just goes full send onto the table. Cooper is down white. Makes sense, makes sense. I'm probably still going to call him Cooper though, because otherwise my brain's going to get confused. Lipasek though, lost a lot of time there between himself and Cam after a minor mistake. It looks like Cam's really got some pace on here at the moment as well there, just 9/10 between the two riders. You can see him closing up here now, potentially trying to snatch away that racing lead. See if he can pull something out of the bag. Lipasek struggling with a penalty now. Roughly a 1 second penalty, showing Cam 0.003 of a second ahead. Of course, as we can see, Lipasek still holds that position on track, at least for the moment, before Cam comes railing around the outside. Look at this. Looks to switch underneath. Gets it done. Thank you very much, he says. Lipo goes for the double as well there, solidifying Cam's lead here. The only real bit of contention Lipo could have had that would have been immediate would have been that table. Looks like he's managed to pull something off here though in the second half of the rhythm section. Really close that gap back down. Lipo back down the inside. Cam of course to the outside, looking for the optimal drive. Gets it done. Through the whoop section, just about gets the bike stopped there in the corner. You saw that front wheel hesitate there for a moment, as if to say, do I want to tuck, do I want to go? Thankfully it chose to go, and the battle remains between these guys. Lipasek putting on some serious pressure though onto the back of Cam. He's not willing to let that position go anywhere near soon. Just 0.4 separate the two bikes. 1.4 to the timing gates, of course, due to Lipasek's 1 second penalty. Hopefully we don't see too many more of those penalties creep up into this battle, otherwise they could decide it just on the technicality alone. For the moment though, we'll have a little flick through the field. Jake currently holding P3 just ahead of Cooper or Dan White. The TSCZ bike then looking to try and close his way in. See if we can pull it off. Of course, Jake checking over his shoulder there just briefly, seeing where the Husky is. Find his way around him. Oh, almost getting through there. Jake's under some serious pressure now as he comes through the whoops. It's going to be who can get the bike stopped on the end. Well, looks like both get it done really nicely there. Lovely stuff indeed. Back up towards the front then, and we do have Cam with a 5.4 second gap. Thank you very much, he says. And oh no, it's all gone out of the window thanks to the cupcake commentary curse. That's a trademark, by the way. Big old flip there. Dear me. I might actually trademark the cupcake commentary curse. That'd be hilarious. Probably cost way too much money for a meme though, but there you go. Anyways, the gap between Cam and Lipo did close up a little bit, but thanks to Cam's prayers to Boboso, I guess, he got a pretty decent respawn there despite the disastrous looking crash. Lipasek putting in a really nice run there. Jake trying to find his way past as well here. Looks like he's managed to get it done. TSCZ Husqvarna then back on the offensive. Oh, Jake's tagged the front wheel onto the rear of Lipasek there and just put himself over the bars. An unfortunate error. Really easy mistake to make. Definitely not what he was hoping for though here tonight. Back down to P4 we go. It's a little flick through field. Tyler J here. Currently P10. Struggling to find his way up and through the traffic a little bit more than usual. Still doing nicely though, by anyone's other standards. Let's see if we can close that gap up with the racing podium, of course. Back up to P9 now, once that timing gate. Just haven't updated yet. Oh, Logan in front has got some penalties. Looks like Arcos is in front actually, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Timing gates just cannot keep up with Tyler J. He's all the way into P8. We didn't even see him overtake a bike. How does that even happen? What a weird world we live in. 5.8 seconds here for Cam. Let's see how it updates as Lipo comes over the line. 6.1. It's opening the gap up lap by lap here for Cam. We'll have a little look at lap time, shall we? Why not? Why not? A 54.8 here for Cam. That's his fastest lap so far, and his previous lap. Lipasek 55.5 though. So just a little bit off the pace there. Now we're losing some time. 55.2 here from Cooper. We've got Jake with a 55.3, 55.8 here from Dimitri. You can see just how tight these top bikes are. 57 here from Dorian, a little bit off the pace, but he's kept good consistency here tonight. 55.2 here from Tyler J. Still not into those 54s though that we see at the racing leader Cameron. 58, 56, 59. I'm just looking through. Anyways, don't mind me. Back on with the actual racer-rooney, and then we have Cooper now in the P3 position by the looks of things. Lipsec maintains P2 for the moment. Pretty decent gap here as well. Looks like the actual fight's starting to fizzle out just a little bit. Hopefully it does close back up towards the ending stages of the race, of course. Tyler J now onto the back of Dorian Merritt. This is the fight for P6 now on the field. Starting to get into some genuine contention now. Tyler J then trying to make it work on the lean green fighting machine. Can he make it stick? Looks like he's got a mega drive there through that particular section. Down into this triple we go. Scrub down the inside. Yes, please, thank you very much. Dorian here keeps great speed though on that Mostra KTM. Not willing to relent the position just yet. Still got 10 minutes to go. It's going to be a long, heavy, drawn-out fight if Dorian can keep him behind. Looks like Tyler's having a little cheeky look-see. And the cheeky look-see's worked really well there down into the inside line for the whoops. Wow, he pulled a very, very nice gap in, almost jumping the first couple of whoops there. Dorian going down, unfortunately, solidifies that pass. Gap between Cam and Lipo, though, closes up dramatically, down to just 2 seconds between the racing leaders. So hopefully we can see Lipsec start to close his way back up onto the back of Cam. It goes back up to 6 though, so that kind of spoils the fun. But there you go. Deary me, Frankie. Anyways, we had +6 to Lipo there. Lipo's had a disaster down into P5. Oh no. What has happened to Lipsec here on the AEO KTM? Having a wibble, having a wobble, keeping himself tidy though. We'll use as much as we can for the moment. Usually follow there, Mason. Lipsec trying to find his way past the blue flag bike. That was a bit of a wibbly wobbly moment there. I'm not entirely sure why he did that. Could have definitely held on to that inside rut, but there you go. Maybe he had a little bit too much speed, didn't want to risk a crash. Oh dear! Unfortunate collision there between himself and Dimitri. Definitely not what he was hoping for, that's for sure. That was a positional pass collision as well there. Not ideal at all. Tyler J in the meantime, currently P6, looking to try and close that gap up. Definitely going to do so. Right side Dimitri's just in front now, of course, down in P5. After the collision and pass there between himself and Lipsec. Anyways, let's have a little flickaroonie, have a little look. What have we got here? Looking like it's okay. Dan's trying to close his way in here. Find his way through here. There's 3.5 between himself and Cam. Looks like he's probably holding some penalties. That would be my guess, because the gap doesn't quite look 3.5 seconds big. There you go. Maybe wrong. My estimations have been off before. Not too often, but sometimes. Howell there, sloughing him through it, it looks like. Or save him the grace of saying he had a bad run through the whoops. He was just letting people through. That's all that was. Anyways, let's see if we can find something good going. Where's this cube guy? It's damn white apparently, Lando. So I have been informed. Here, trying to keep himself tidy. maintaining that podium P3 position there, in a few seconds of, well, wow, nearly 9 seconds of gap, sorry, between himself and Dimitri now. Massive moments there. It looks like Lipo's lost the position to Dimitri once again. Not what he was expecting, I'm sure. In fact, no, it's not. It's Lipo's penalty. Lipo's penalty that we got really early on in the race is still a thorn in his side there. Definitely having a tough time. Let's see if he can find his way up and through the field just a little bit more. Makes sense for now why I've changed the name? Maybe. Who even knows? Grabbing ourselves a nice little bit of time. Oh dear me, Cam having a bit of a tail wag, let's call it, over the jump there. Leaning a little too far over the bars. Yeah, definitely doing nicely, Lando. That's what we like to see regardless. Cam here then. 5 minutes 40 on the clock. And a 5.4 second gap. That's incredibly satisfying. Alright, that's what we like to see. 4.9 it changed to, but there you go. Still got our bit done. Tyler J from down in like P15, 16-ish, all the way up to P5 now. Having a hell of a ride, as is to be expected by the racing championship winner. Had a tough time there in P2. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Is it going to be enough to close Jacob? I don't think it's going to be enough just yet. Still 5 minutes on the clock though. Any more mistakes like that could really cost him some positions now. Keeping himself tidy here. Stuff. Leave the Zek here, trying to find his way onto the back of Tyler J once again here. Tyler now though up to P4, just storming his way through the field as usual. 22.4 to the leader. Watch that gap, it may well go down. 55.2 on lap 3, 56.2 on this last lap, 56, 56, 57, 56. Cam's lap times, let's have a little look-see. 57, 56, 56, 56. He's keeping some serious pace here tonight. He did a 1 minute lap there though on lap 11. Definitely having the occasional moment there, as is to be expected. It is a tough sport here in Supercross. Very difficult to stay completely 100% consistent and mistake-free. It looks like Dan's actually getting very close. Tell a lie. Looks like he's a little bit further back than I thought. I thought that Husky was the back of Cam there for the moment. Brain file, but you can see that 22.4 down to 21.9. We'll see how it updates over the line here. Give me a time. 21.5. It's going down still. That's exactly what he wants to be doing. And then we'll flick on through the field. Looks like Tyler J is just completely broken away from Dimitri and Lipo here. Lipo, you can see, is in front of Dimitri, but it's not going to matter. Oh no, huge crash there for Lipo. That doesn't mean he's in front anymore. But I was going to say it wasn't going to matter because of Lipo's 2 seconds of penalties there. But unfortunately it didn't matter because Lipo's crashed. So therefore Dimitri finds his way back on through into P5 once again. Very grateful to do so, I'm sure. Dorian Mara here. A little bit of a fall down through the field, but he's held some decent times and decent positions here. Hopefully I don't jinx him too much, and hopefully he can get back on the bike and keep it solid. For now though, Valentin of course looking to try and close his way up and capitalise on the mistake there of his opponent. The Prestige KTM then putting some serious pressure onto the inside of the Mostra bike, gets it done on the brakes. What a stop. Very nice pass there from Valentin. He goes down the inside line to try and play defensive. Lovely stuff there from the Prestige KTM bike. bounce around. Dan and Cam here, starting to get very, very close. Looks like Dan does have some severe penalties though. At least, well, I would say 2 seconds of penalties, I would estimate. I would say 1.3 between them. May well be wrong, of course, but that looks to be about right. Definitely keeping solid. Anyways, we've got to find our way through some extra little gap-arinis, find some battles. What we got going on? Aiden here versus Dorian is the fight for P7. We'll stick around with these guys for a little minute, shall we? Just see what's going on here. Looks like the Mostra KTM looking like he's trying to close in with the back of his MXBMR bike. Not going to be an easy feat though, at all. Himself as stable as he can for the moment. Valentin LDF's had a bit of a tough time there on the Prestige bike. Like I say, mistakes happen to anyone. You just pray they don't happen towards the end of the race, because that's not ideal at all. You don't get much time to recover. Just a couple of laps remaining now as well here in Denver. We really don't have the time to recover from any more major mistakes. He's really trying to close that gap now between himself and Aiden. Be an easy feat. We're going to check back in with him. For now, Arcos and Tyler J crash with each other. An unfortunate moment by all accounts. Jam's getting collected as well. Arcos almost picking up Tyler J again there. Very close stuff. Oh, and Cloud goes down, picking up Tyler J once again. Very unfortunate stuff here for the championship leader after the, during the end of the race. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Just kind of, my brain's fried. Anyways, we're here. We're running around. We've got Cam. He's on the final lap. We're going to stick with him and see how things finish up here tonight. Big old bounce there from the overjump. Just a casual lap here from Cam then. No real pressure. Just got to keep the bike on 2 wheels. Looks like he's doing exactly that. Not over scrubbing it. Not looking to push it too hard. Just wants to bring it home. Through the whoops we go, bonking our way through for the final time, and down towards the final turn here tonight in Denver. Don't forget, we do have the HSM Amateur Series coming up, but for now it's Cam across the line for P1 here tonight for round 16 of the ARL EU SX Championship. Looks like Cooperton or Dan White picked up P2, and Jake will go on to secure P3 here on the AJP KTM. A fantastic ride there from Jake. Had some very, very nice defensive moves, some very, very nice overtakes. And overall, just as a good, solid night, which is what we like to see. Tyler J, then after some absolute disasters here, has managed to pick his way all the way up to P4. Just about missing out with the podium, unfortunately, but still a fantastic ride there by all means from the Kawasaki rider. Dimitri picking up P5 here, and Lipasek coming home for P6, it looks like, on the AEO team. Lovely stuff indeed from these guys. Aiden very close behind. Dorian actually gets it by a hair there. You can see just less than a tenth there. 0.08 of a second between the two of those riders. Incredible close stuff there. Portman here. A little bit of a gap between himself and P8, but still picking up P9. That's what we like to see. Across the line for the AEO Husqvarna. Yoda will take P10 and Valentin for P11. Lovely stuff indeed then. Lovely stuff indeed. We had some good racing here tonight in Denver. Hopefully some of you guys stick around so we can watch the HSM Amateur Series. I believe they are running. I don't think we're having any issues tonight. We got saved. W to Father Bang. W to Nico as well for helping out. I believe, yeah, the qualifying went up, so we are good to go. Let's get it going then. We're going to meet you back here very, very shortly with the HSM Amateur SX Series. Don't be going nowhere. Let's get you back into the edits just for a brief time.